So we're here in Silver Spring, Maryland, visiting Mission Autism Clinics, which is one of our newer providers here in Montgomery County. We have a strong foundation of organizations, both in the private and nonprofit sector, to serve our autism families here in Montgomery County. Autism is a rapidly growing segment of our population, and because of early detection and partnerships with our medical provider community, we're doing a better job diagnosing earlier in kids, children who are on the autism spectrum. But as we make those diagnoses, we need to make sure there's a strong infrastructure of organizations that have the ability to serve these families well and holistically. So I'm about to take a tour of one of those facilities now, and I hope you'll join me. Well, hi, Julia. It's so nice to be here. Tell us a little bit about what you guys do here and what you're hoping to have happen here.
So at Mission Autism, what we provide are both comprehensive and targeted plans for kids with autism to address some of their core deficits that would hold them back in accomplishing and living their most independent and successful lives. And so it's really about the community and serving the need and being able to see that progress and being able to really positively affect lives. Working in this field, you can see it day to day, and you can hear how thankful the parents are and how much of a difference we're able to make, and that is really powerful.
There's space over here. Can we? Oh, good problem solving. Look at you.
What message would you have for our broader public? How can businesses and organizations and communities get involved to help our autism community?
We're really in the field of we want to collaborate and not compete. So trying to identify all of those organizations that are trying to get into the community, get awareness out, and make the community more autism friendly. And so I think that is part of it, having everybody collaborate and communicate and really have the same long-term goal of providing good services and providing support where these families need it.
What is that?
A horse.
That is a horse. Nice job.
So you guys just opened a few weeks ago, and the demand is quickly going to outpace the supply of spots available. Talk to me a little bit about what you guys are seeing in the community, and as you've talked to families, what they're talking about, what the needs are.
Yeah, so right now in Montgomery County in general, we see a huge demand for services. Other providers are having wait lists. Insurance companies report wait lists to getting into those services. And above all else, pediatricians and doctors' offices that are diagnosing kids see 3 to 6 month, if not year-long wait lists before they can even get a diagnosis. And so given some of those numbers and the overall need, we need to be able to open our doors and get the word out there that there are resources available. There is a growing need, and I think it's just going to continue to grow. Right now there's no blood test, there's no genetic test for a diagnosis for autism. And so it still leaves it up to rating scales and direct observations. And there's, a lot of specific training that you need to be able to diagnose a kid for that autism disorder. But as a community and as a field, the research is indicating that we're getting much better at diagnosing and diagnosing early, which is critical because the earlier that we have a diagnosis, the sooner we can start services. And there's a wealth of research that suggests if we can get services in very early while kiddos are still young, the need for long-term services decreases by a huge amount. And so, that's our end goal, not only to make those students' lives independent, fulfilling, long-term success, but also reduce the resources on the community.
Which one do I eat with? Good job. You're right. I eat with a fork.
In your opinion, just based on your analysis and work, and some of this is probably organic, but where do you think there are the biggest holes in terms of infrastructure and support for our autism community?
I think that the biggest holes really are the adult services. And as they get older into those adult services, it's challenging to find meaningful adult services right now.
So we had an opportunity to visit Mission, a wonderful program that offers programs and services for children with autism. And now we are about to visit Main Street, a fantastic facility in Montgomery County that offers services for adults with differing abilities. It's unique in how it brings together so many different programs and services under one roof. Let's go take a look. Give us the backstory of how this magnificent facility came to be.
So we are here because we have a son. He's 22 years old. We have 4 sons, but he's the third. And he has multiple disabilities and challenges. We may see him as we walk through the building. I think he's working at the front desk today. And I started researching and looking around when Nickel was in school to see what his adult life might look like. Started interviewing some families and adults with disabilities and looked pretty sad and grim, actually. I mean, it looked as if people were not living with purpose or passion or meaning or connection. And my husband and I decided this is something that we can do. This is something that our community needs. This is something really the whole world needs, honestly. I'm a huge justice seeker for any vulnerable or underserved population. And the population of adults with disabilities to me looked othered and less than. They were treated less than. And we want to change all that. So that's what Main Street is.
So you are.
I'm Nicholas Copeland.
And you're gonna what?
Live here.
We are an apartment building located in Rockville Town Center. 75% of our units are affordable. 25% were set aside for adults with disabilities. We currently have 50% of our units occupied by people who self-identify as having a disability. But we're really even more than that, right? Because we are a community center. You'll see the spaces as we walk through. They're light and bright and colorful and vibrant. They give people a feeling of pride and dignity and respect.
Eli, what up, Eli? How you doing?
Hey, Eli.
What's happening?
We are really becoming the lifeline for many to connect, to be stimulated, to find meaning and passion and joy.
How you doing?
And we have found that we are statistically, significantly improving the quality of life. And that's really what this is about, is giving people opportunity so that they have possibility.
Talk a little bit about coming out of COVID, why it's even more important now than ever to provide the high level of services that we have here at Main Street.
After COVID, it was really more important for us to not just engage adults with disabilities who were further isolated, but to remind them that this is what life can look like during COVID and after. You are cared about, you are cared for. We are here for you, we are present. Maybe COVID did a favor for people with disabilities in this kind of crazy way because it allowed most people to be disconnected from community. Right? So everyone maybe can relate to how it feels to be disconnected, isolated, lonely, depressed, anxious. There are amazing opportunities in this county. There's ArtStream and Imagination Stage and Seek and TLC and Jessa and all these amazing organizations in the county that work with people with disabilities. To my knowledge, I think we are one of the few that it is fully inclusive. All the time, every program. And I think that's what people want and need.
There's a support structure in place for children and youth within our disability community, but there is a cliff, particularly as people age out of the system. And it is just emotionally challenging and logistically terribly challenging for families. And that's why facilities like this to me is more than just brick and mortar, it's a movement. We're creating real energy that we're hoping can be replicated in other parts of the county. Why are facilities like this important, particularly for adults with disabilities, and why having a one-stop shop aspect of employment, health and wellness, engagement, socialization? Why is it important, and do you think this can be replicated in other parts of the county?
Yes, it can be replicated, and we are hoping to make that happen. It's costly, but why that needs to happen is because the one-stop shopping is critical. What we're finding is even with a Main Street, even with 22 programs a week and people that get to live here, transportation's still an issue. Finances are still an issue. So the affordability piece is huge. There really aren't programs, daily programs for people to feel engagement and purpose.
Right.
We provide that here. It's safe, it feels homey, and like Cheers, where everyone knows your name is a big deal. It's a big deal. But that one-stop shop where you know you're gonna find kindness and a welcoming space, it's pretty critical. This feeling can be replicated. It doesn't have to be the structure, but we can do this with local developers. We can do this with, maybe some tax reductions for people building these, with, as I said, monies that come in from public-private partnerships. We can do this. It just has to be a priority.
What do you see for the future of Main Street, and how can the county help?
Join us, be a part of Main Street. Don't have to have a disability to belong. Everybody belongs. That would be the first thing I would want to close with. The second is, this is a mission. It's not just moving disability forward, it's providing a seat at the table for everyone. And that's so critically important, as we know. And so that I would like to end with. We all can have a role, and maybe a responsibility for some, but a role in making our county a more equitable place. We really need it right now.
So we just took a fabulous tour of a very important facility here in Montgomery County, a facility that combines workforce development, health and wellness, arts-based programming in an inclusive manner that is truly unique and important for adults with disabilities in Montgomery County. We need more facilities like Main Street and Mission, and I look forward to supporting these and many efforts moving forward.